Today we have Dr. Kellie Holmstrom in the studio to talk to us about a mission trip she recently went on that kind of fights rabies. And how are you doing this morning?
Doing well this morning.
Good. Yes, thank you for being here. And today, like I said, we're talking about rabies, and it's something that people here in the United States might not think it's a big deal, but it actually is, right?
Right. Especially in third world countries, it continues to be an issue where people die. And so I became involved in a program to help address that. As a veterinarian, giving rabies vaccines is something we do.
Excellent, yes. And so for people who don't exactly know what rabies is, what is it?
So it's a virus. It is in most mammals, or most mammals can get it. And so here in the United States, we think more about bats or raccoons. We are aware that dogs can carry rabies, as cats can also. And so we vaccinate our dogs and cats for that.
Exactly. And you recently came back from a trip in Cambodia, right?
Yes, there's a program called Mission Rabies. It's set up in the UK, and they are in a number of third world countries. Their goal would be to eliminate rabies by 2030. The pandemic kind of put a stopper in that, or slowed it down, so maybe 2035. But I went to their Cambodia project, and so I went at the end of October into the beginning of November, and we vaccinated dogs and cats there. We had 700 Cambodians and 100 people from 30 countries. And so we had 3 different areas, and we vaccinated just under 230,000 dogs and cats.
Wow. And like you mentioned, in third world countries, it is a very serious issue. And can you tell me a little bit about what the whole experience was like for you?
So it was hot and humid. I told them, they asked me, how are you doing? I said, well, is this hot and humid in the United States? I'd be in my sauna naked. But that's where it is. And it is kind of a problem more so in the tropics. They are losing 1 to 2 kids a week to rabies. And so we believe they need to educate their kids. They're going into the schools and giving pamphlets, explaining what rabies is, explaining if you're bitten by a dog, you need to tell somebody and you need to go to a medical facility. We went out and vaccinated those dogs. The vaccines that we acquired were from a company called Merck, and they provide vaccines in the United States. And every vaccine that they sell to a vet clinic here, then they donate a vaccine to rabies in other countries with this Mission Rabies. So it's one of their points of pride, and it's how I learned about the program. What was it like? We would get there, we'd get up about 6 in the morning, eat breakfast, and leave at 7 in the morning. We'd spend an hour driving over to the vet clinic, or to the vet school in Phnom Penh. We got our supplies, and at 8 o'clock we joined our team, and I had a 4th-year vet student that helped me. I had a tuk-tuk driver that we would then get into his vehicle and drive around. We were assigned a location where we had to go, and I had to load into this phone every dog I vaccinated, every dog I saw, so they could tell at the end of the day where we had been in what areas. Our goal was to give 70% of the dogs vaccines. We could not go 100% because you'd see dogs in the yard, but they were working or not at home, or you'd see dogs running loose that we could not acquire. But that's what we did. We had my team, we were very much a team, they would go out and explain things, because I do not speak Khmer at all. I just smiled in my Midwestern hi, thank you. But people seemed to be very receptive, especially when they saw me, that they thought it was a legitimate thing we were doing. What was interesting was we had this speaker that said, free rabies vaccines, please see us, but when we did the translation back, it said schizophrenia vaccine.
Oh, wow.
And that has to do with how do you translate,
yeah.
right? So, but I felt very good about it. I felt like I made a difference. We were doing puppies as young as a day old, because the feeling was that might be the only vaccine that dog gets. Yeah. So it was different than what we do here, but certainly made a difference.
Yeah, and I mean, personally for you, how does it feel to be back here after the great work you've done? But obviously, this is not just the end. More work still needs to be done, right?
Yes, yeah. They're looking at sending me next year to another one, so I felt it was worth my time and money to go and participate in this. And they have it set up correctly because they know that the locals in Cambodia or in the country you're working in have to be behind this effort. We had the chiefs out there telling people, get your dogs out here, get them vaccinated. They had government from the national level were there. The agricultural minister was there one morning watching us load up our supplies and go out. It was a great experience to just see people from all over the world that felt this was valuable to do.
Mm-hmm. And I know before the interview we mentioned the 3 big takeaways were education, which you covered.
We know that it's not just giving a vaccine. There's more to that. The second one, so there's vaccination, education, and then sterilization is our third one. So we asked everyone that we vaccinated, would you like to have your animal sterilized? And of all the animals I saw, there was only one that had been spayed. So it's certainly something that they need help with, because if you can't control the population of the animals, then you're going to just continue to have this problem. And so they're building a large surgery center at the vet school, and we're working at getting the population to bring their pets in. They did this in Thailand, and once people got used to seeing that it was okay to get their animals spayed and neutered, then they started signing up. So I worked hard at getting that done, and I did a little happy dance if they said yes, they wanted sterilization. So I think my student would say, you want to see your dance, sign up for this.
And so, if people want to learn more about Mission Rabies, the whole effort, how can they learn more about it?
So if you think this is something that you'd like to get involved with, there's a number of different ways you can do it. Number one is go online and look up Mission Rabies and see what they talk about. Number two is to, you can volunteer, and you don't have to be a veterinarian, but you can actually go and participate in one of these programs, or you can donate money. They're always looking for money. And the third one would be to ask your vet to use Merck vaccines, because that helps support this program also.
Definitely. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I would just say it was definitely worth doing, and it made me feel good that I still want to give back to the community, and this was a way I could do that.
Right. Yes. Thank you so much. We really appreciate this valuable information.
Yeah.
Yes. And we'll be right back with more My UP Mornings after the break.